Okay, we are going to do some more division today. So, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and repeat. That is your mantra. So let's go ahead and do a couple of problems just to warm up. So let's go ahead and do 68 divided by 2. Let's warm up with that one. All right, so here's what you do. Covering this, and we're asking ourselves, 6 divided by 2 is what? Same thing as 2 times what gives us 6. Well, I know that 2 times 3 gives me 6. I'm going to subtract the 6 now, and I'm going to get 0, and I'm going to bring down the 8. All right? 2 times what now gives me 8, or as close as 8 as possible? Well, I can actually get an exact here. 2 times 4 is 8. So I have 8, and I have 0. There's nothing more to bring down, so there's nothing to repeat. 34 is my answer. No remainder here. All right, let's do another one. Let's do 5 divided by 92. Go ahead and try that one. All right. 5 times what gives me 9? Well, nothing exactly. 5 times 1 gives me 5. 5 times 2 gives me 10, which is too big. So I'm going to do 5 times 1. Subtract the 5. I have a 4. I'm going to bring down the 2. Now I have 42. So I need to ask myself, what gives me 5 times what gives me as close to 42 as possible? 5 times, well, let's do 5 times 8 gives me 40. 5 times 9 gives me 45. So I am going to have to go with the 8. 5 times 8 gives me 40. I'm going to subtract 40, and I have 2 here. There's nothing more to bring down, and there's nothing to repeat, so it is 18 remainder 2. Okay, let's do 2 more warm-ups. Let's go ahead and do 7 divided by 37. Go ahead and see what you get there. All right. 7 cannot be multiplied by anything to equal 3. So we're going to put a 0 there, and we're going to move over. 7 times what gets me as close to 37 as possible? Well, I can go ahead and I can do 7 times 5 is 35. So I'm going to put my 5 here. I'm going to subtract 35, and I get, oops, I'm sorry, I don't know why I wrote that. And I get 2. So now I have 5 remainder 2. All right. 3-digiter for you. Let's do 6 divided by 724. All right. Try that. 6 goes into 7 one time. 6 times 1 gives me 6. 7 take away 6 gives me 1. Bring down the 2. 6 times what gives me 12? 6 times 2 gives me 12. Subtract 12, and I have 0. Okay? Now I'm going to bring down my 4. 6 times what gives me 4? Oh, nothing. So I do have a 0 here, and I'm going to subtract 0, and I have 4 left over. So because nothing gave me 6 times 0 gave me, was what I had to do. I couldn't do 6 times 1. It was too big with this 4. I still subtract that 4. There's nothing more to bring down, so there's no repeating. There's just a remainder of 4. 120 remainder 4. All right, let's go ahead and do this problem. Now, the focus of today's lesson is reminding us what to do when we get zeros in our problems. So we're going to do 327 divided by 3. And I'm going to walk you through this one. So 3 times what gives me 3. 3 times 1. 3 take away 3 gives me 0. I'm going to bring down the 2. Okay? Now, again, 3 times what gives me 2? Well, I can't do anything there. So I have to put a 0 because 3 times 1 is too big. So I am going to subtract that 0. Okay? I'm bringing down the 7. I'm bringing it down. And I have 27. Now, 3 times what gives me 27? 3 times 9, subtract 27, and I have 0. So I have 109 as my answer. I'm going to walk you through what I did again. So I asked myself 3 times what gives me 3? Well, I can get 3 times 1 is 3. And then I have 0. 3 times what gives me 2? Well, nothing times 3 gives me 2. So I have to put a 0 here. And then I'm going to subtract that 0 that I had. And I'm going to get 2. Then I am going to bring down that 7 and have 27. So 3 times 9 gives me 27. Then I'm going to subtract that and end up with 0. My final answer is 109. Okay. I'm going to do another one showing you. Let's do 415 divided by 2. All right. So 2 times what gives me 4? 2 times 2 gives me 4. I'm going to subtract 4 because 2 times 2 is 4. Now I have 0. I'm going to bring down 1. 2 times what equals 1? Nothing. So I have to do 2 times 0. I'm going to subtract that 0. I have 1. Next, I'm going to bring down the 5. I have 15. 2 times what gets me as close to 15 as possible? 2 times 7 is 14. 15 take away 14 is 1. Okay? I'm going to have you try one on your own now. $212 divided by 2. Go ahead and try that. All right, 2 times what gives me 2? 2 times 1 gives me 2. I'm going to subtract that 2 and end up with 0. Okay, bringing down the 1. 2 times what gives me 1? Nothing. So I have to write a 0, and I'm going to subtract 0 and end up with 1. Okay, I'm going to bring down my 2, and now I have 12. 2 times what gives me 12? 2 times 6 gives me 12. 12 take away 12 gives me 0. 106 is my answer. All right, let's do another one. You do 617 divided by 2. 2 times what gives me 6? That's 3. 6 take away 6 gives me 0. Bring down a 1. 2 times what gives me 1? Nothing, so I have a 0. 1 take away 0 gives me 1. Bring down the 7. 2 times what gives me 17, or as close as possible to 17. 2 times 8, 16. 1. So I have 308, remainder 1. I'm going to give you one more. We're going to do 626 divided by 3. Go ahead and try that. All right, 3 times what gives me 6? 3 times 2. So now I have 6, take away 6 is 0. Bring down the 2. 3 times what gives me 2? Nothing. It's too big. Take away 0. Bring down the 6. 3 times what gives me 6? 3 times 2 again. Take away 6, and I have 0. Just pay attention to those zeros and keep having faith and keep practicing. You can do it.